I think the biggest one was to enjoy defending in as much as they enjoy attacking. And that's the only way. Because if you send defending in a negative way, it becomes a suffering. But you say to them, be positive, show the art of defending. Then it doesn't come across as punishment. Instead, it comes across as you demonstrating how then to defend, which I thought, in my opinion, for the better part of the match, they showed exactly that. However, you don't only defend and defend, you have to defend to attack. But the zone at which we defended was good enough for us to get balls and go on counter-attacks, which in my opinion, I think we did manage. It was quite clear what the players and the team were trying to do from defense to attack, and also giving an understanding that Mamelodi Sundowns will always dominate the ball, and you have to acknowledge that. But then you have to choose the area of dominance without leaving the lines, because they invite you to press. So we decline the invitation, because if they invite you to come and press, you're leaving the lines, and each line you leave, you collapse. They will collapse you up until they get to the net. So we needed to be very smart to decline the invite to want to press, predominantly from Ronwin and the two center backs. So literally saying you're making a game 11 versus 7. In fact, 11 versus 8, because you say center back have it. Ronwin, you can have it, because Ronwin is a playmaker. If you mistaken him for just a goalkeeper, he's a goal player. There's a ball where it got played to him to try to press, he just came out, he's come. So you count him as a player. So they don't play 10v10 on the field. They have 10v11. So what you then do, say those three can have it central. Stay central, which then triggered the tactical innuendos that occurred in a match. Because if you remember, first half, you could see Ayende dropping into the midfield, Modiba becoming a problem central. Now it invited two of the defensive midfielders, depending on which side the ball is. And wide the other side, you had Lodge, who was busy with your fullback, getting the ball, cutting inside and dribbling. So you have a problem of one-on-one in there. If you go solve the one-on-one outside, the inside gets open, because this side Modiba is overloading. The other side Ayende is overloading. You still need to deal with Esquivel, Modau. So it's quite complex. You have to figure out that picture to say which area is priority. Central, they will get it, will go second phase. Then second half. Then the introduction of Tapelo, a different approach. Introduction of Nku, a different approach. Then the game is telling you that first half, we wanted to come through and we cannot penetrate because of your compactness. No problem, we can't go through, we'll have to go around. Going around with one-on-ones. Tapelo has that, Nku has that, which is why immediately we got Ulukelo in. That one-on-one was just where he got injured. It's a sign that, listen, the message says now they are coming one-on-ones. The other area, apart from staying compact to avoid any through balls, acknowledging that there's going to be balls played around, there were balls over. So when you play Sundowns, you must know that one, if you stay compact on the sides, and also compact from north to south, it means there's some space anyway. Either the space is behind there because you're stepping high, which is why we didn't want to take our line of confrontation far too high, so that you kill the space between your goalkeeper and your back four. So you have to be very smart. Now, for players to execute that for 90 minutes must be commendable. And coming out as well, threatening to score, must be commendable. My humble opinion, humble, I thought they could have scored a goal if they had more belief. There were moments where maybe they felt like, goodness me, this is not happening. It can't be. Is it us? It's all about belief, man. If you take a different team and put in those positions, they would have scored quite a number of goals.
Coach, obviously the red card came just at the start of the second half. Do you feel you would have probably gotten or given the boys a stronger message had you had more time, like the halftime break, to maybe set up better in the second half to ensure that you capitalize on the numerical advantage?
I don't want to respond and start portraying myself as a tactical genius, but obviously thoughts would be different, because now it's easy, I can say whatever and sound eloquent, just because I'm saying it, I have no opportunity to prove it. So I think it would have thrown different dynamic, but also acknowledge the fact that you are not playing against a small team. You're playing against, these folks have amazing Champions League experience. There's one small detail of how they even use their bodies. If by any chance there's a ball played across over the top and we have to go get the ball, the guy who's making a run to go receive it, they just bump on him. The referee doesn't see that. It's a it's just small, but it's huge in the sense that it eliminates possibility of threats. But that's another experience. So these are things that you try to sell to your players. And Teron did the same as well. There was a ball that was played, there was a runner, he bounced on the runner, and then he delayed the run. My apologies there. He delayed the run, but this is what happens in football. Those small details, those are difference makers.
Coach, you just talking about that. Did that help you that you were there for 3 years? Is it for you to prepare against them? Looking at all those dynamics that they bring in, the ball manipulation, and all those kind of things.
Partly yes, but predominantly you can't survive in the DSTV Premiership if you don't want to watch matches. Which is why we always say to players, watch the game. If you come and ask me about Orlando Pirates, I must be in a position to dissect Orlando Pirates from Mofokeng, the other side of Dlamini, their movements, Makaul and everybody. Because if you don't have that ability and you're coaching in the Premier League, you'll have a problem. So you need to understand exactly how all these teams operate. Not unless they change and tweak things. Because I think Sundowns must have also realized that we are a bit unpredictable in the sense that we are not set in one way. If you looked at us maybe in the previous matches, we build from the back. And then when you come here, you say high press, this is how they build. They have 2 center backs, they bring their midfielders, and then they're looking for an up back through, they are staggered, When you come to us today and expecting that file doesn't exist. We took that file, we threw it away, and then we went a bit longer. Now you have to deal with Nguse, you have to deal with Knox on long balls, diagonal to the full backs. So if you remain so unpredictable, it is a challenge. There were matches where we dropped our strikers into the midfield in Cape Town and left wingers. So you have to be so unpredictable that you pose a bigger threat to the opponent. Because if you stay set in one way, they will figure you out. So I think Mamelodi Sundowns, yes, I've worked with them. I know exactly how they behave, but as well you have to be a scholar of the game and understand all these innuendos that are happening tactically. Because if you are not in the game, if you don't stay in the game, you get left behind. You will lose it. Go play Pirates and sleep. You'll never come back alive. Go play Cape Town City and sleep. Go play Mamelodi Sundowns. So you have to be on top of every plan, every scheme, every action, every thought, so that you can come through. But it's not easy.
Coach, obviously the last time you spoke about giving everybody a chance, especially the goalkeepers. Today we saw a very good performance from Watenga. Can we maybe expect him to start the rest of the remaining games of the season?
I think he's done so well that he deserves the next match, not unless injuries occur. And Watenga, I worked with Watenga when we were at Sundowns. I knew exactly his capabilities. When he arrived, we were all shocked that this guy is a hell of a top keeper. But he was up against Kennedy Moine, Dennis Onyango, Ronan Williams, Riyad Peters, there was Jody February. There were so many, even Ricardo Kos. There were so many who were there. But the shot stopping that was with him then, you could see that this guy is a top keeper, which is what I saw today. But when I arrived at Arrows, I'm sure I arrived on the 7th of March, 2 months. When I arrived, he had just come back from injury. You could see he was still weak, lacked confidence and all that. Even in the previous match, he was not as confident. But what he is now compared to the last match and the previous performance, he seems to be growing. And this has only put him to another level of confidence. And it's good because these are his former employers to show them that, listen, you did not make a mistake by bringing me in.
Is Nguse a former future Bafana star?
Mark, I'm very careful about those, but I love the question, and I'm tempted to say yes. Players must be, because if I were to say that, I said the same with Mabasa, I said the same with a whole lot of other players, and it came up around as misunderstood. But I think looking at this Nguse kid is something else. He gave big boys trouble here. And you could see whether Libusa must have felt him, Mvala must have said, okay, who's this one, number 40, Nguse. So based on that, I would agree with the question. He's got ability. And I think Unanga Kungos, 27, around there. You know, South Africa, and you're saying, you know, but he's still young. At 27-year-old man, he should be playing, but it's good to have that. If you have a Nguse, you have a Mabasa, you have whoever, let them raise their hands, but he's got the ability. All I can say, positioning, top. From a physical point, strong. Technically, finishes. Mentally, he's screwed up. He's a humble guy. So all these areas where you're saying, what do I want from a striker? From a technical point of finishing, he's good. From the mindset, is he a calm person? Does he recognize moments in a game? Yes, he's good. All that you need, I think he's good. We can only help him elevate his confidence. Will be something else for South Africa.
That's why they call him the Sumo.
There we go. There we go. But he's got all those qualities. The trademark of Ene, I wish he scored the last shot he took. But he still had a Mutizo across. These are chances that you say, come on guys. And if it's not meant to be, it will never be.
Coach, just make the last one for me. I saw you start keeper Usbia, who usually we are great again. Today, do you see him? What's he really?
I think so. And I must commend you for the humble question that you're trying to ask a difficult question, but in a nice way. I think he was not the Sibia we know. Usuluma and Esmazi, the Sibia we know would have created havoc. I would cite an example. There's a ball first half he got, drifted inside, dribbled inside, indecisive, lost it. That's not Sulu. Usulunje, we Zembe. But today he wasn't the Sulu that we know. I think we were watching the same game, but he'll come back better, man. Players will never be the same throughout the year. So this one, for whatever reason, didn't fall into his hands, but his teammates helped him.
Top 8, sir.
Ish, Mikey, I'm dying for it. How many points do we have now?
1 point behind. You're 1 point behind the top place.
No, I'm not looking at it from that. I'm looking at it from the end point of view. If I look at it at matches, I'll be deceived. I'm looking at how many. It should be 40 points. So how many points do we have now? 33? 32, 33. We need 8. How many matches left? 3. So you must win all those matches. You have Chipa and Kosiam. You have Cape Town Spurs and Kosiam. And then you have Ilona Mazur and Kosiam. Okay, you can just imagine. So you must get 9 points. And they're listening to me. They're getting angry as I say this. I'm not saying I'm coming for you, colleagues. I'm just mentioning the people we fixtured with for the next 3 matches.